Here's one of the biggest misconceptions in crypto. If my token isn't a security, then I'm safe. That's not how the SEC sees it, because a token that is not a security can still become one depending on how you sell it. And even more interesting, that connection doesn't necessarily last forever. Hey everyone, I'm Corey, lawyer helping entrepreneurs decode law, technology, and innovation. This is part 6 of our 8-part series breaking down the SEC's new crypto framework. Today we're covering one of the most important concepts founders need to understand: when a non-security token becomes an investment contract and when that connection can actually end. So here's what we're covering today: how a non-security token becomes an investment contract, why your messaging matters more than your token, what creates profit expectations, and how and when that legal connection can end. So the core idea, it's not just about the token. The SEC is making a major shift here. Token classification is not just about what the asset is. It's about what you say, what you promise, and what buyers expect. So even if your token is a digital commodity, a collectible, or a tool, it can still fall under securities laws if you sell it in the wrong way. So next, how a token becomes an investment contract. Here's the legal test in a simplified fashion. A token becomes part of an investment contract when people invest money in a common enterprise, they expect profits, and they expect those profits to come from your efforts. That last part is very important. If the buyers think your team will drive value, you've created risk. The SEC is focused on what you say, and this is where most founders mess up. The SEC has explicitly said that profit expectations come from your communications. This includes your website, your white paper, your social media, your pitch decks, and your interviews. So everything counts. Next, the timing here can matter more than you think. The SEC also cares about when you say these things. In this case, what matters the most is what you have said before or during any sale. That's what defines the legal framework here. So your pre-launch messaging can lock in your risk. Next, the more detailed the promise, the bigger the risk. Here's where it gets dangerous. The SEC says risk increases when you're making clear promises, when you show detailed roadmaps, when you explain how users will profit, and when you lay out milestones and timelines. Ironically, the more professional your pitch sounds, the more potential legal exposure you may create. So the big shift here, the connection can end. Now here's the part most people miss. The SEC says that an investment contract is not permanent. It only exists as long as buyers reasonably expect profits from your team's efforts. And once that expectation disappears, the connection can end as well. So how does this separation happen? The first path would be you deliver on what you said you're going to deliver. You ship the product, you complete your milestones, you open source the system, you remove reliance on your team. When those things have happened, buyers are no longer relying on you. And the next path, let's say the market just moves on. This path is less ideal. If the project stalls, promises aren't fulfilled, or the team walks away, eventually the market stops expecting anything from you. That also can break the connection. But, and this is crucial, liability may still remain. So what does this mean for founders, entrepreneurs, or teams building generally? This changes everything about how you launch. You're going to need to think more about what you're promising. Can you prove and deliver it? Will buyers rely on you as a team long term? Because your narrative here may create additional legal exposure. So what are some key areas of mistakes that folks can make? The biggest mistake I see is when folks treat marketing and legal as separate. They're not. Your story is your legal framework. And if your product says one thing and your marketing says another, the gap can become your risk. So let's recap. A token doesn't need to be a security to create securities risk. Your messaging could create profit expectations. Detailed promises may increase your legal exposure. And the connections can end, but only under certain conditions. The best teams are not just designing tokens, they're designing the expectations. Join me on the path to decoding law, technology, and innovation to grow your business. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Until next time,